Ghetto, Monday, December 1st. It's your host, Love, back reporting live from this wild little planet where emotions run high and football runs higher. Let's unpack Sunday's NFL like the group chat would, honest, fast, and a little dramatic. Sunday NFL scores, no BS rundown. Panthers 31, Rams 28. Carolina really said surprise. Big comeback energy. Rams choking on their own turnovers. Classic self-sabotage storyline. 49ers 26. Browns 8, San Fran ran the table. Cleveland collected 8 points like spare change on the sidewalk. Texans 20, Colts 16, down to the wire. Houston locked in late. Indy missed their moment like a slow elevator door. Dolphins 21, Saints 17. New Orleans tried a comeback, but Miami hit them with the read the room. Jets 27, Falcons 24. Walk-off 56-yard FG for the win. Atlanta piled up yards, but lost the plot at the final boss fight. Buccaneers 20, Cardinals 17 nail-biter. Arizona came up just short. Emotional damage with a side of hope. Jaguars 25, Titans 3. Jags did grown man chores. Titans did nothing of statistical value. Seahawks 26, Vikings 0 shutout alert. Minnesota offense entered witness protection. Seattle had a light jog. Chargers 31, Raiders 14. LA flexed. Vegas ate the floor. Simple math. Bills 26, Steelers 7, Buffalo bulldozed Pittsburgh so bad it felt personal. Cowboys 24, Eagles 21. Philly almost had it. Cowboys said, nice try though. Falcons 24, Saints 10, extra rivalry spice. Atlanta clocked in, clocked out, and grabbed the W efficient. Rams 34, Buccaneers 7, late window demolition. Absolute beatdown. LA reminded everyone they can score. Sometimes.
That was a rough transition, almost as rough as Jerry Judy and Shador going back and forth. Shador told him to get out of his face. Boy, they was heated. How are y'all doing? Happy December 1st. Wow. I feel like last week was a whole year in 1 week. It was a lot, but we made it through. It's December the 1st. Wowza. I'm still thugging it out, y'all. The weekend is a blur. Thanksgiving was nice. We ate well. Yeah. The weekend was a blur. I put up my Christmas decorations, cleaned my house. Just, it's too much to even talk about, but let's just get in the news because it's too much to talk about. Update. Did he surrender? Venezuelan dictator Maduro is reported to be preparing to step down and fleeing to Iran under agreement with President Trump, as reported by Brazilian CNN. Klay Thompson named his boat SS Stallion after his girlfriend Meg Thee Stallion. This is getting serious, kids. Look at 54-year-old Regina Hall. She looks great. I hope they look that good at 54. Russia announces that it will begin evacuating Russian citizens who are in Venezuela. They will send some special flights to be able to get them out of the country. Homeowners in complete shock after discovering a black bear had turned their crawl space into a hibernation den. An Altadena homeowner was stunned to find the 300-pound black bear had claimed the crawl space as his winter den. Bears should just be doing whatever they want. Cory Booker and Alexis Lewis got married. Angela Bassett and her husband was dancing at some ball they had for their daughter, but look at Angie and her husband getting it. I know that's right. Animals in Chicago Zoo delight in a fresh snowfall. I can't believe it's already snowing. A Virginia high school football coach who went missing earlier this month and was later revealed to be wanted on charges involving child abuse material was last seen walking into the woods with a pew-pew, the coach's family says. President Trump calls for the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates by 3 to 4 points to 1%. 19 were unalived and 19 were pew-pewed, 4 were unalived at a children's party location as a banquet hall. And this happened in Stockton, California. Steven Seagal been eating good. You know what? I would actually watch him do a martial arts movie at this size just so I can chuckle a little bit. Because the fact that he's still sticking a dye in his hair cracks me up. Stay-at-home dads are on the rise, but they're not necessarily doing it to look after their kids. They just at home making a mess with the kids. Ray J permanently banned from Twitch following a domestic abuse with his estranged partner, Princess Love. A 90-year-old driver was injured after crashing through a coffee shop on Thanksgiving in California. Lung damage from vaping. Not that we don't know that, but vaping has officially been linked to rare and irreversible lung disease. But then the AI said that this is bronchitis. So which one is it? President Trump says that airspace above the surrounding Venezuela is now closed in its entirety. Weeks after Crystal Krug, a married mother of 3, was found unalived in her Colorado garage, she and her husband Dan Krug had received threatening texts and emails from a stalker who believed was her ex-boyfriend. How did they get back? That story is crazy. You had your ex-boyfriend, you married with your kids, and now your ex-boyfriend comes back. It's crazy. A 21-year-old Chicago man sets his parents' house on fire after they said it was time for him to move out. When he was initially told the cops had to be called to calm things down and left, less than an hour later he came back and poured accelerant all over the home. President Trump administration says it's halting all asylum decisions. The U.S. Embassy in Mexico has issued guidance to America headed to Mexico over the winter months, encouraging them to be mindful of the country's current level of travel to advisory. President Trump said Friday that any document signed by former President Biden using an auto pen is hereby terminated. A woman has passed away and a man was seriously injured after a shark attack in Australia. Ben Affleck spends Thanksgiving with Jennifer Garner and the kids. Did you know that sports legend Jackie Robinson and Joe Louis were stationed at Fort Riley together during World War II? The legendary number 42 and brown bomber are pictured in 1942 during their time serving our country. Another black bear was spotted casually roaming around Gatlinburg, Tennessee, a place I'll never go with all them freaking bears. Like, no. President Trump says he may totally eliminate the federal income tax. Now, I would be here for that. President Trump suggested that the U.S. could very soon begin targeting alleged Venezuelan drug traffickers on land. Hollywood police say 2 early morning pew-pewings during Seminole Hard Rock Casino appear to be connected. Sean Combs' fellow inmates were expecting a bleak Thanksgiving, but all that changed after a well-organized and well-funded plan by Sean himself. He fed 1,000 people Thanksgiving dinner. Colorado tourists found unalive in Tobago with a metal object protruding from their back after going to buy marijuana. The toll of a massive fire at a residential apartment complex in Hong Kong rose to 128 as of Friday. New York woman earns the Guinness Book of World Records for the largest afro. I would love to have this achievement in life. But my mama dyed my hair permed my hair when I was 5. The suspect in the shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. had worked with CIA-backed units during the war in Afghanistan. Santa Monica officials have issued a formal notice to Waymo ordering the company to stop running its autonomous vehicle charging sites during overnight hours. The move comes after months of conflict and ongoing complaints from nearby residents about excessive noise. That would be annoying. After being deported from Minnesota last week, a young mother says she's back in Honduras without her 8-month-old child. U.S. Attorney for D.C. Janine Pirro says National Guard members Sarah Beckstrom, 20, and Andrew Wolf, 24, were sworn in less than 24 hours before the attack and both remain in critical condition. I think the lady may have passed, I'm not for sure, but imagine just getting sworn in and then that happens. That's crazy and sad. Minnesota man is reconvicted in New Year's Eve unalivement of a real estate agent after the couple lured her to a fake home showing. When people just trying to do their job and people do that to them, it's terrible. Ray J's mother claps back at social users claiming she raised a terrible son after he was arrested for allegedly pointing a pew-pew at Princess Love. She says, "Sorry, but I don't think so." She said, "You think pulling pew-pews and tossing women in the pool is a good representation of the man you raised? Well, I hope I do better by mine." Sonia said she loved her son. Her son can do no wrong. Rihanna with a congratulations to Barbados, my home on our 59th Independence Day and our 4th year as a republic. Riri is in Barbados. What do they call them? I forget their name. Can't think of it right now. The name for the Barbados people. Somebody said, I think charging people late fees for not paying rent on time should be illegal. I mean, how far on time are you talking? Because I think like the 20th of the month could be a cutoff. Give people a chance. Georgia GOP youth leader resigns after alleged child predator sting. This is interesting. Says Jaquan Stembridge, 19, the youngest assistant secretary in Georgia GOP history and newly elected GOP secretary, has resigned from his party role effective November 29th. The resignation follows a serious incident in Athens where Stembridge was caught in a child predator sting, allegedly attempting to meet an underage boy. Stembridge chairs Georgia Teen Republicans, a high school organization, and is also a member of the Georgia Young Republicans. Text messages reviewed from the incident reportedly show Stembridge communicating with a 14-year-old and asking to meet after the minor's age was revealed. Video footage from the confrontation compares Stembridge visibly flustered and making repeated excuses. "No, I don't, but are you 19 or are you 17? The decoy asked sharply, blocking Stembridge's path near the car. And because it looks like a girl, but I guess it's a boy. "I swear to God." "Okay, then talk to me then. Don't lie. I swear to God, let me see the ID." The decoy holds up a phone, displaying screenshots of explicit text messages. Message reportedly phrases like, "I can't get around," on like 11 months alone, propositions for a meetup. The decoy presses. You get it, but he got busted trying to meet a kid, which is sad. Alright, let's Get into my story times. See what I got. I've been trying to be present on social media, but it's been just a busy week.
Winston, you're crazy! 2, 3, go!
This dog is having so much fun.
Yo, the snow is killing me. The snow is killing me, bro. It's bad. Don't go outside.
Dude, I want to know if this dude got pneumonia. He's clearly still alive because he's on live right now.
So as many of you know, my dad is dating my sister's best friend. So our dad is dating my younger sister's best friend. I think she's like 25 or 26. Anyways, they have a 1-year-old son together. So recently I went to Charleston to visit my best friend, and my dad lives there. So I wanted to meet my baby brother, and I invited him over my best friend's house because we had a early Thanksgiving. So I told him, I said, hey, I just want to invite you and the baby so you can come see your grandbabies, and I want to meet my brother. So he said, that's cool, that's fine. I already knew he wasn't going to bring them because his girlfriend, god damn this filter, his girlfriend, she's oh, if they don't like me, they're not going to meet my son. So yeah. So anyway, that was that. So he didn't bring them, but he came to see me and the babies, and we're talking, and he was like, oh, I might go visit you next weekend. I said, that's fine, just let me know. And he goes, well, you know, I'm gonna have so-and-so with me. I said, that's fine. Oh, and I was by his house the first day I got there. Anyways, so, hold on. I called him and I said, hey, I'm passing by your house. Can I stop really quick to see you? He's not letting any of his kids go inside the house. Kudos to him for sticking up for whatever he wants to call her, you know, whatever. But he's not letting us come into the house. He keeps like, oh, the tension. I said, I don't have tension with her. I do have my sister's back, though. I said, whatever tension her and my sister have is because she feels a betrayal from her best friend. So I have my sister's back, and I do think and feel that the situation is wrong. Like, you shouldn't be dating your daughter's best friend. So anyways, so he's, you know, at the house, we're talking. He goes, I'm going to be there next weekend in Florida to come visit you. And I said, that's fine. He said, I'm going to have so-and-so with me. I said, that's fine. She could wait in the car. She could wait in the car. She's not welcome into my home. She's disrespectful. She could wait in the car. And he said, okay, that's fine. I said, she's also not going to meet my children. She's not going to meet any of my kids. He said, why? You couldn't even bring my baby brother to see me because she wants to use him as leverage. Oh, they don't like me and want to talk to me. They can't see my son. That's my baby brother, you know? And it is what it is. As a mother, I respect it, because if I didn't want somebody seeing my kids, I would want my significant other to respect. So, I respect it. But you're not going to come to my home and think you're going to meet my kids. Like, I could be petty Betty, too.
I already know in the comments it's going to be like, you letting your dad off the hook. Somebody was like, as many of you know, somebody like, in fact, I did not know. Somebody said, your dad is disgusting and pathetic. Your sister should have whipped her best friend's butt. Your sister's best friend has no say. She has a lot of nerve and audacity to act like the victim and all this. Especially feel bad for your mom. The poor BS she has to deal with. I think you're grown and you should definitely go no contact with your dad. It doesn't matter if he's your dad. He's not doing anything for you. And clearly, that girl matters more than you do. Yeah, I mean, in this situation, I don't know why you would still want to be in communication with your dad, but
Can you roll your right foot clockwise in a circle? Your right foot clockwise in a circle. Keep it going. And then with your right hand, can you draw a 6 in the air? What happened to your foot? Did it change directions? Did it stop? Did your brain short circuit? Try it again. Right foot clockwise in a circle. Keep it going. And now right hand, draw a 6. Okay. All right, with your left foot clockwise in a circle. Keep it going. And then use your left hand and draw the number 6. What happened? Most people can't do it. The foot automatically changes directions or stops. Your brain automatically wants to create efficiency. 2 body parts on the same side are moving, the brain wants to sync them up. It takes less cognitive resources to run one motor pattern than 2 competing ones. You tried to do this exercise and your brain was like, that's too much work, and it overrode your pattern without your permission. That override, that automatic sync, is the same mechanism that keeps you stuck in patterns. Your nervous system defaults to efficiency, to what is familiar, even if it's not what you actually want to be doing. So doing things like intentionally engaging with your body, practicing independent control, builds neural pathways for choice instead of default, or intentional response over automatic reaction.
That's deep. But I would spend like all day trying to get this right. Like, I don't have that kind of time. But when I get really bored, I'm going to make my foot and hand go in the same direction.
I got a question. Why the fuck zoos be charging us to look at goddamn animals that they fucking kidnap?
No doubt.
I don't like Halloween. I don't like Thanksgiving. I don't like Christmas. I don't like New Year's Eve. I don't like New Year's Day. I don't like Valentine. I don't like St. Patrick's Day. I don't like birthdays. I don't like
You don't like it. This is me now at 48. I cannot see. I be like, what is happening?
Have you ever cheated on somebody?
Yeah.
You have?
Yep.
What happened?
That motherfucker cheated on me, so I cheated back.
Did you feel even?
Yep.
For real?
Yep.
Who are you with now?
Nobody.
Shit. I got my green light. What's up? You ever been with a light skin? Oof.
You better be glad I do her. I would have cussed your ass out.
Why is that?
Hold up.
You got it. Look, you set. You 100.
All right.
Don't even trip.
I almost had got mad.
Well, let's talk. Can I make it up to you?
No, you can't make it up. This motherfucker knocked my ponytail all the way off.
Have you ever cheated?
She's single for a reason, big dog.
As soon as you have a daughter, you gotta change your life. Like, the first thing I did was join the church. But I don't know if I joined the right church. Like, my church is in Long Beach. All the deacons is old retired Crips. Everybody on my deacon board. I didn't know they was like that until I went to the men's brunch. Y'all ever been to the men's brunch? That's where the men really get to be men. They be theyself. They ain't got suits on. They got Pendletons. That's like, hey, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dang, Mr. Wesley, you a Crip too? You know what I'm saying? We got one brother that raised 3 daughters. All daughters went to a university. One brother, he proud. He 55 years old. That's all he brag about is, all my daughters went to a university. I sent them all to school. I'm telling you, little cuz. I'm like, nigga, I'm not a Crip, nigga. I'm telling you right now. He was like, look, I'm telling you, man, all of them went to university. I was like, well, what's the trick? What do you do? He's like, oh, man, you about to have a little girl? That's a love like you ain't never felt before. You got that little girl, you ain't never felt love in your life, like the love of a little girl. Enjoy it while you can. I said, what you mean while I can? He was like, because as soon as she gets some dick, she not your baby no more. I said, oh, hell no. But it was the way he said it. I don't know if you ever seen old black men face when they say some with pain. They like, until she gets some. I'm like, oh. I'm like, what do I do? He was like, keep her away from the. I was like, all right, Like, I went home. I can't even let my daughter use a pacifier no more. I was like, get that out your mouth. Hell no. Y'all ever seen babies when they teething too? Y'all ever seen babies when they, oh man, my son didn't do that. My son was a sniffer. My little girl be throwing everything in her mouth. She teething right now. I walked in, she had the pacifier. I said, oh hell no, I kicked her. My girl was like, you tripping. I was like, no, I know the spirit of hope when I know that. We gotta pray this off for her. She was like, no, that's for comfort. I was like, why you ain't comfort around this baby?
Saw a video of an ER nurse talking about a patient that came in because he let a baby cow slap on his knob, and then it degloved him, and who do you call the police? PETA Saw a video of it.
Angel, what would a helpful Naeem look like to you?
A helpful Naeem would look like, hey babe, I see you're tired. Let me take the baby off of your hands instead of, hey babe, why don't you give me a little top?
Oh.
He sees I'm exhausted. He sees I ain't had no sleep.
How much energy does it take to suck a dick?
Ask your mother.
Okay.
She has the answer.
You would ask yours, but
she's
long gone.
She is.
She's long gone.
She is gone. She is.
That's what this is really about. That's what really angers you, that you don't have a support system.
Yes.
Kevin, his little skits.
Mom,
Hindsight, but that is funny for us, but not for her.
If your Christian walk prevents you from engaging with people who are not Christians, how strong is your walk? Because when I worked at Bank of America, I had a coworker who worked in the window next to me who was a Wiccan, like a practicing, like the witch's witch. Like, I can't quit this job because she's a witch. She was actually really cool. That's the crazy thing. I didn't know she was a witch for like 2 years. We were talking about witches on Halloween. She was like, yeah, you know, I'm a witch for real. I was like, yeah, you know, hocus pocus. She was like, no, I'm like a Wiccan. And I didn't even know what that word was. I was like, what do you mean? She was like, I practice the religion. And I was like, what you mean? I didn't know that much, Craig. I said, y'all doing stews and stuff? Like y'all cauldrons? And she was like, no, man, we don't do no cauldrons. You're welcome to come to church. Jesus, big JC over here. I don't know nothing about that Alakazam. I don't know nothing about them broomsticks. I didn't even see Wicked till last year. We don't do that stuff. I don't do no Harry Potters. I don't know nothing about that. I know a man from Galilee and I speak in tongues. I don't know nothing about what y'all talking about. I ain't gonna fly on no broomstick. He gonna call me up like Enoch. That's all I know. We're always surrounded by people who are not Christians if we live in the world. And I think we try to create this environment where we just never be touched. Oh my God. Like we live on earth.
Yeah.
The Bible talks about the path being few. Yeah. So that means that the majority of people ain't gonna be doing it.
Yeah.
And what's the point of even doing it if you can't bring people to what you believe?
Yeah.
By your faith, by your walk, by your thoughts. If you're scared to even interact with people, how could you lead them to God?
Wow.
Never once in my mind have I said, man, after we whoop this nigga ass, man, we got to pull a dangling out. We got to get him naked, man. After we whoop his ass, pull his pants out. We got to see his asshole. He need to walk around here naked to humiliate himself. How is pulling the man meat out humiliating him, man? I don't get that. I'm not understanding it. Cause there's a woman somewhere saying, there go a dangling. If women jump women and said, I'm finna pull them titties out. Niggas around. The bitch had them titties out. Them titties is out. And women said, I humiliated the bitch. Them titties out. Men said, them titties is out. That's what I came to the fight for. Hopefully a titty pop out. Pop that titty out. That's all I used to want to see a fight for back in the day. Hopefully a titty pop out. So, you hoping the dangling pop out?
He just on here yapping.
Dude, when I tell you, I go out in public and like people are like, oh my God, like, dude, you're whitewashed or something. Like, you're like a good black dude. Like, you're cool for being black. Nigga, I'm a nigga, boy. Stop playing with me. I just know how to finesse y'all niggas and get what I want out of you, boy. Switch this thing off and on your ass, nigga. But dude, like literally I was dude, when I tell
code switching.
Have you ever thought about what God did before he created the earth?
Well, he low-key told us if you read between the lines. I just feel like he ain't say it flat out because some stuff you just gotta save for the grand finale, you know, when everybody get there in person or whatever. But no, for real. Because he basically told us, you know, before earth and stuff, me and the angels was kicking it in heaven. We was all kiki kaka. It was cool. And then here come Lucifer. Lucifer started asking questions. Not only that, Lucifer was actually one of the angels closest to me. He was actually right beside my light. He was a cherubim. Cherubim have, like, you know, they got the wings covering their eyes and stuff because God's glory is so bright. But either way, Lucifer was right there. He was one of my cherubim. But either way, he started asking the questions. He basically started asking questions like, why are you God? Why we gotta serve you? Matter of fact, why they can't serve me? Why can't you serve me? I want you to serve me. Matter of fact, I want your throne. I want your throne. Excuse me. So boom, he really ain't tell you the full story on how Lucifer got a third of the angels to turn against God. But he did give you examples by how he showed how Lucifer interacted with Eve and how he interacted with Jesus. We observed that Lucifer gets people to turn against people by twisting the truth or bending the truth with questions, right? So who's to say he didn't do the exact same thing in heaven? So then that leads you to the question, if God is all knowing and he know everything, why didn't he stop Lucifer from switching up on him? Then not only that, why didn't he stop a third of the angels from switching up on him? Why not just outright smite Satan the moment of? Because that makes me ask the question, why stop the inevitable? Why not let it happen the first time that it comes around? What I mean by that, who's to say that if Lucifer would have got smited the moment of that he started changing up on God, who's to say that it wouldn't have happened again through another angel? Because somebody would ask the question, why are you God? Why do we got to serve you? Because matter of fact, we do it today now on earth. We ask the question, why is he God? Why do we got to serve him? Why is he worthy of all the praise? Do you not see all the stuff that's going on earth? Then boom, newsflash, the angels who actually lived in eternity and all perfection, they ask the same question, why are you God? Because keep it a buck, if we live in perfect harmony together, we all consider each other to be brothers, and God just outright get rid of your brother, no explanation, because that means nobody would have knowledge of what Lucifer had planned on the inside. That means God would have had to get rid of him with no explanation. If God just outright get rid of your brother in front of your face, what you gonna do? You gonna side eye him a little bit? You gonna go, nah, I ain't cool with that. Especially the brother that I knew for all eternity, I ain't cool with that. So instead of a third of the angels, it would have been all of the angels switching up on God. But either way, wrapping it up, Lucifer was asking all them questions, and then he had got a third of the angels to switch up on God because he was asking all them questions. Boom, a whole revolution started happening. Everybody got to tussling, they got to fighting, that part of Revelation, they got to fight. God said, not where I live. Y'all can take that on somewhere, put them out. Boom, a third of the angels and Satan get sent down to the earth. Boom. Now my theory on this, Eve was the first woman ever. Like before Eve ever came to earth, like heaven had never seen a woman before. That's my theory. Like ever. Like heaven had never seen a woman before Eve was put on the earth. Like that's why God is so especially tender towards women, because this is a very special creation to him. Then also I believe that's why Lucifer specifically picked Eve to corrupt, because I'm finna ruin your perfect little creation. And what Lucifer intended for bad, God intended for good. He thought by corrupting mankind through Eve eating off the tree that would condemn us to the same punishment that he was condemned to. Because once again, Lucifer made his decision outside the constraints of time. He made his decision in forever, in eternity. He made his decision in God's face. That's why he never gets the opportunity to say, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't mean it. But we get to say, I'm sorry, I don't mean it, because we were made into time. But time came to be because Eve ate off the tree. I ain't even try to rhyme like that, but either way. So that's why I say what Lucifer intended for bad, God intended for good, because that fight that happened in heaven happening forever. So I have a whole video on how I believe when that happened, nobody felt anything. They felt just genuine pain of emotion. Just imagine fighting with a limitless body, but now you're on earth with a limit, with a body that has a limit. So when chaos does corrupt, chaos is limited. So God created time, space, and matter, so there is room for a decision. So instead of asking the question, why are you God? You get to literally witness in the flesh why he is God. You can make the argument, so we have to suffer to do that. But if we're going to be honest and have that conversation, the people that had bodies that did not have a limit, that had perfection, took perfection for granted because they never knew pain. So because you know pain, you won't take for granted the limitless aspect of your body, your spiritual body. Not only that, you never ever have to ask the question, well, why are you God? Because you experienced it in flesh. And that was an opportunity. God took that moment to create earth to show both Satan and us at the same time why he is God. And you will never, ever, 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 ever have to ask that question, because all of this stuff started because the question, why are you God, came about. That question of why are you God created a contempt in the heart. But I'm just saying, that's also why scripture says, blessed be those who believe without sin, because there were people or things that actually saw and did not believe.
Deep.
Y'all, I just took an Uber, which cost me like $208, and I came from Alabama all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, and this nigga is not letting me in. Am I not showing true love?
Yesterday, me and my wife are at her family's early Thanksgiving celebration, you can call it. We're out eating, having a good time with her family. And her sister and her husband are there. Her sister and her husband are there, and they stand up to make an announcement. She dings a glass, everybody's looking intently, and she says, guys, I won't be able to drink alcohol for a while. We all immediately get it, right? She's pregnant. Cool. Celebrate. We clap, we congratulate her and her husband. Not even 2 seconds later, after the congratulations are given out, she says, I'm glad you had a miscarriage, because as being the older sister, it's only right that I have the first grandchild. She said that to my wife. Mind you, 2 years ago, my wife was pregnant. She was pregnant and she suffered a miscarriage, and that was pretty damaging to my family, as you could imagine. Her sister says that and then immediately starts laughing. My wife nervously laughs, trying to ease the tension because everybody else at the table is quiet. So for me, I'm pissed. I grab my wife's hand and I stand up. I stand up and I say, you better pray that your child comes out half as good as the person that my wife is. Because if they're anything like you, they're going to be a terrible person, because you will be a terrible mother. Everybody at the table quiet. I say, honey, it's time to go. We leave. I get a call from my in-laws. They say, well, we understand why you were mad. You didn't have to do that because she is still pregnant. You're right. I didn't get a call from my wife's sister's husband. He tells me that I need to apologize to her because she's hysteric and mad that he didn't defend her. Tough shit. I defended my wife. So, I'm here because I'm just wondering. Right, she is pregnant. Maybe I was wrong for saying that she would be a bad mother while she's pregnant. Maybe I was wrong for that. But I feel like I had the right to defend my wife, right?
Definitely. And as a pregnant woman, why would you say something like that? That's so insensitive to your own sister on top of that. Like, kudos to him for defending her. And kudos to you guys for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. Y'all stay blessed and happy December 1st. Inspiration is definitely in the way.
We have been taught how to grieve when somebody passes. We've been taught that. There are books about it. You can Google it. We've been taught how to grieve over losing a loved one. But I believe we have been under-taught. How do you grieve over what you thought was God's will, but time revealed it wasn't? How do you handle when you thought this was God and something shows you missed it? See, sometimes stress can be defined as the heart's way of grieving over what was not God's plan. Did y'all hear what I just said? If I was a note taker, I'd write that down. Sometimes stress is the heart's way of grieving over what was not God's plan? How do you eulogize disappointment and still maintain your joy? How do you eulogize not getting it and still maintaining your joy? How do you eulogize, grieve, and let go of the life that you thought you would have by now, but you don't have it and you still have joy? How do you handle and grieve over what you thought was God's will, but it wasn't? And we have to have this conversation because here in America, we are inspiring people to death. In Western Hemisphere Christianity, we are only preaching about the God that blesses. We're only preaching about the God that has a breakthrough for you. So now we have people who don't know how to handle loss, and we don't know how to handle the no of God because we keep on preaching the yes of God. We keep on preaching it's coming of God, but we don't know how to preach and handle when God is saying, no, this is not coming. This is not your season. This is not my will. I have a different plan. It's not going to happen. We don't know how to handle that part. We don't know how to handle the no of God. This is not my will of God. And I've just arrived to this place. You can really know that you're growing in your spiritual maturity when you begin to thank God over what you didn't get. See? This side was just one clap, so I need to put my foot on the gas a little more. I got to teach today. Some of us should have been praising God a little bit bigger because there's some stuff you should have got, but his will made sure that you didn't. There's some bullets you should have got, but his plan made sure that you didn't. There's some jail time you should have got, but his plan made sure that you didn't. There's some STDs that you should have caught. Y'all don't want to talk to me, but you didn't. There's some stuff that should have happened, but God's plan made sure that it didn't. Can I mess y'all up? God's will actually traffics more in what you didn't get. His will actually traffics more in what you didn't get. I know I can get everybody to shout if I say that he's a God that opens doors. We heard that sermon before. I know that I can get the whole house to shout if I preach that he's a God of abundance and a breakthrough is coming. We've heard that sermon before. I know that I can get you to shout if I begin to preach that a financial breakthrough is coming in the next 7 days. If you just shout like you lost your mind. We've heard that sermon before. But I wonder, is there anybody who's arrived to this place? God, thank you for every door you closed. Thank you for everything that didn't work out. Thank you that I didn't get approved for the application. Thank you that I didn't get the position. Thank you that this didn't work out. Thank you, God, that the relationship did fail. I don't want to talk. Thank you, God, the relationship didn't work. See, some of us are mad at God's will and are blaming people.
If you're looking to spruce up the outside of your house, these are the coolest and easiest lights you can buy and require no tools to install. Each box...
You blaming people, but it really was God's will. Let me help you forgive somebody. It's not what they did. It's just it was never God's plan. It's not what they said. It's just it was never God's plan. Stop being bitter over them. It was never God's plan. You asked him to keep you in his will, and he's doing it. Sometimes the answer to your prayer is revealed by what left. Y'all ain't gonna like this. I understand. How do you eulogize disappointment? It's when you understand and trust the sovereignty of God. See, our generation is woke to people being narcissists. Hear it all the time. Ooh, that's a narcissist. Ooh, that's toxic. That's unhealthy. You got to protect your mental peace. You got to protect your mental health. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. I understand narcissists need power, right? Narcissists need control. Like that's their supply. In fact, if they can't control you, they will begin to try to control how people see you. Because narcissists need control. Ooh, I'm about to mess y'all up. Some of us don't even recognize we are spiritual narcissists. We're trying to control what God is trying to do in our life. And we try to manipulate it. We try to negotiate with him about it. And then when God doesn't give us what we want, we get mad and say, all that church stuff doesn't work. All that Jesus stuff doesn't work. Where were you at last Sunday? I missed you. I don't even go to church anymore. I don't know why you go to church, because narcissists try to control the way that you see things when they no longer can control you. Are you a spiritual narcissist? Obsessed with controlling what God is trying to do? Obsessed with controlling God's plan for your life? You have arrived to a place of maturity when you're like, God, thank you for everything I didn't get. I want to have anybody pray that prayer. God, I want to thank you today for all the stuff that won't happen. I want to thank you today for all the times you're going to say no. Or how about when you pray over opportunities? God, if this is not your will, I want you to give me an undeniable no. Make sure it doesn't flow. Make sure it's crystal clear it's not you. Or do we pray, God, you know this is what I want. Have you ever considered that when God says, for I know the plans I have for you, that must mean that you don't? So many times, as I begin to think about this, I'm like, man, I know we can shout over what God is going to do, but what about what he doesn't do? Release them. It was not God's plan. That's why I failed. Stop blaming them. It wasn't God's plan. That's why it failed. But you don't understand, Pastor. It was so painful. I do understand. What I'm trying to do is make sure that your pain eventually pays you. Listen, all this year, from King Encounters to Destiny Decisions to Exit Strategies, I've been trying to get us to understand all of us are going to experience pain. But don't let the pain be unprofitable. If you're going to hurt, at least get a salary from it later. If you're going to experience pain, at least get a breakthrough or a blessing from it later. But don't go through pain because you are hard-headed. Don't go through pain because you just had to get it your way. This is not Burger King. God is a king, not a negotiator. Sometimes pain is the midwife to purpose. Purposeful pain is not for your joy abduction. It's for your divine introduction. I'm going to keep going. Purposeful pain is preparation for what's coming, not punishment for what was done. I'm going to keep going. Purposeful pain can teach you pleasures more than sinful pleasure ever will. I'm going to keep going. Purposeful pain is to give your faith some muscle. Your faith needs to get stronger. And God is saying the only way I can do this is for you to know that pain is the midwife to purpose. This is interwoven all throughout the fabric of Scripture. I can give you Bible all day. Joseph had to experience pain by being betrayed by his brothers. But that situation was the midwife to his destiny, because pain is the midwife to purpose. It causes you to give birth to your destiny. Ruth and Naomi both experienced pain by the death of their husband, but that situation was the midwife for their destiny, because pain is the midwife to purpose. It caused you to give birth to your destiny. Esther experienced pain by Haman trying to slaughter all her people and kill Mordecai, but that situation was the midwife to her destiny, because pain will give you a purpose if you allow it to push forth your destiny. Even Jesus had to experience pain, and that was the midwife for his destiny. So the question on this afternoon is, do you really want to give birth?
The truth is, not every